YouTube, what's up? Back again for another daily fishing video here on Andrew Upshaw Fishing. Today's video comes from a comment I got on YouTube. Now, I'm just going to be the first to tell you, I've been really bad at responding to y'all's comments. I try to respond. I actually read every single comment that y'all leave. It just takes so much more energy to actually respond to all of them. But I am so thankful that y'all are commenting. I do my best to comment back to the ones that I can. If I haven't commented back, make sure maybe drop that comment again and maybe I'll see it and have some time to respond to it. But today's video is coming from that comment, and I've had a bunch of comments about this, is how do I practice for tournaments? Guys, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I can't just make a video about how I practice because I fish a lot of different types of events. So I'm going to actually probably break this into some type of series and do a couple different videos on this. And hopefully one of these next few videos will pertain to you. But today's video is going to be how I practice for individual tournaments where I'm fishing by myself, no team partner, and I'm fishing a one-day event. So like a BFL, weekend series, something like that. But guys, real quick, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that sub button. Y'all are growing this channel. Y'all are, not me. Y'all are growing this channel by subscribing to it and commenting and liking everything that I'm doing. I love all the interaction that I get. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you here in just a second. Alright guys, today's video is about how to practice for individual tournaments. So like a single person tournament for a one-day event. And I'm going to go and tell you, we don't always get the right amount of practice. We don't get 5 days of practice, 6 days of practice, a week, or whatever it may be. We might only have one afternoon, maybe one morning. And a lot of times we might not even get any practice. But today's video is going to highlight a few things that I do when it comes to individual tournaments. Now, I'm going to be the first to tell you, I wish I got to practice all the time like everybody thinks I do. I literally just show up and go fish a lot of times, but I might get one afternoon, one morning, maybe a day, a total of a day, and sometimes that's all we get, and that's okay, because, I don't think practice is only about the time that you spend on the water, but I also think it's about the time that you spend researching before you even get to that body of water. So many times, I see guys make the mistake of having overwhelming expectations. Now, don't get me wrong. You should set your standard high. You should set goals. You should set all these things to do well in tournaments. But so many times, guys are so, and I myself included from time to time, I get so caught up on either dock talk or, maybe a tournament that was 3 months before in the spring and they were spawning and the fish were fat. And I set these unrealistic goals for myself, and then I get kind of brought back down to reality. So, for instance, I want to know what I need to catch. So my practice starts maybe a week before the tournament even starts. So the number one thing that I do is I get on Google, and I Google whatever lake I'm on, and I want to see the tournament results for that month. And I mean, I want the whole month. And I don't care if I look back for 5 years, 10 years, whatever it may be. I want to know what the weights are. So I need to know what the top 10 weight is. And I always look at 10th place. Because first place, don't get me wrong, if it's your day, you're going to do well. You're going to catch them. You're going to catch big ones. But for the most part, if I get a top 10 in an individual tournament, I'm pretty happy. So I'm going to look at 10th place. What made the top 10? Is it 12 pounds a day? Or, 12 pounds? Was it 15 pounds? What is the average for May at that particular body of water? Well, once I know that, then I can kind of say, okay, the average top 10 here is 14 pounds. I don't have to shoot for 5 pounders to do well in this event. I can kind of moderate my goal and say, okay, if, for instance, I catch 5 pounders or 28 pounds, 30 pounds, 35 pounds, great, fantastic. But if I am shooting for 15 pounds, that's a lot more doable. And then I can say, okay, how can I go target 15 pounds? Am I going to go out there and try to catch one real big one and then catch some other just decent fish with it? Or I'm going to catch all 3 pounders? And that's going to be a lot determined how you practice. But before I even hit the water, that's the number one thing I do is get on Google and do some research. I don't care if I've been to that body of water 1 time or 1,000 times. I want to know what it's going to take. And for me, that is so much information, just knowing what it's going to take to do well. So then I hit the water. I'm like, okay, I know I got to go catch 15 pounds. That's all I got to catch. So I got to figure out a way to catch 15 pounds. We'll just say, for instance, I'm on Sam Rayburn. Sam Rayburn right now is extremely flooded. So looking at past fishing reports saying, okay, man, like they catch them on ledges, they're catching them deep. Not going to be the case. Now, will you catch some fish out there deep? Absolutely. But when the lake is 7 foot high, you're not going to catch them deep. So you also got to say, okay, look at the weights. And then you got to say, look at the conditions. Conditions are key. And also key is what conditions are you going to have on tournament day? Is it going to be cloudy? Is it going to be raining? Is it going to be windy? Is it going to be sunny and calm? You got to know those conditions because that's how you need to practice. So if I go out on a body of water and I've got a cloudy day, okay, and my practice day is cloudy, but the tournament day's, sunny and calm, and my practice day is cloudy and windy, I'm going to know that if I pick up a moving bait on this day and I get some bites, 9 times out of 10 on that sunny, calm day, they're probably not going to bite it the same way. So the way that I practice is I will actually do and fish the exact same way that I would fish on the sunny, calm day. You got to trick your mind and say, okay, it's sunny and calm today, even though it's cloudy and windy, and you trick yourself into practicing the right way. So I'll say, okay, what would I do on a sunny and calm day? I'm going to look for shade. I'm going to look for, bait fish. I'm going to look for all these little key ingredients. And that's the number one thing I'm going to look for. And so if I find places that I feel like have an immense amount of shade, that's a good thing. Like a really thick bush or maybe a giant willow, and I'm going to fish ways that I think I'm going to catch them when it's sunny. So I'm going to flip. I'm not going to pick up a moving bait, maybe, if that's the case. If that's the condition that I'm going to have in the tournament, because I don't want to follow some like wild goose chase and go do something that I'm not going to do in the tournament or not going to have success in. So that's the number one thing, is to figure out where the bass are going to be for that day, not the day that you're currently in. So that's, you got to trick yourself, and I know that's kind of weird. The third thing that I do, so the first, couple things is you got to look at size of fish you need to catch, and then you got to look at conditions for the tournament day, trick yourself. And then the third thing that I do is to figure out my tournament bait. So one of the things that I absolutely hate is, and y'all are going to kind of think I'm kind of crazy here, I hate having like 10 different things going on a one-day tournament. Like it's too much. Like if I have too many things in my mind, I do terrible. Like absolutely terrible. So I want to have one way to catch what I think are the best fish, the best quality fish. So in the case of Rayburn being flooded, I'm going to go flipping because I want to figure out a way to catch them flipping. Okay? So that's goal number one, is to figure out how to catch them on a big bait, a good bait that I'm going to get better than average fish on. This, and I'm just telling you guys, this has worked for me for years. This is not just something I just came up with. This has worked for me for years. So I always want to have a tournament bait. And at that point, I want to find a finesse bait. Once I find the finesse bait, and I'm not saying it has to be ultra finesse, but I need to find a bait that I can get a lot of bites on. So if I get in a situation to where maybe I only get 1 or 2 of the right bites flipping or something like that, or maybe my landing ratio is really bad because maybe I'm having to flip so far back in the bushes that I'm losing quite a few fish, I need to find a bait that either A, I fish completely different cover with, or B, I'm fishing more of a finesse style bait around that particular kind of cover. That's the kind of fisherman I am. So I know everybody kind of has their own deal, but I always find the first thing is to find the main bait, the main technique, main pattern to catch some big ones. And then I find a bait kind of like my cleanup hitter for the rest of the time. So I hope at the end of the day that I don't ever have to use that cleanup hitter. I hope I never have to even pick it up, because then I've had such a good day or the other. But I always want to have an alternative. And a lot of times I like to have an alternative that's not on the same type of cover. So in the situation of, let's just say, Rayburn and it being so high, and I haven't been to, I'm going to tell you guys, I haven't been to Rayburn in a little while. But if I'm flipping and that's my main deal and I have 4 fish and I've been flipping bushes and willows and all that stuff all day, then maybe I'm going to take a worm, maybe a shaky head, and go the dam. I know that sounds super crazy, but like having that little bit of difference, changing it up just enough that I know that I can go get another bite. Maybe it's a 2-pounder, maybe it's a 5-pounder, but it's that one bite that's going to separate myself from having 4 fish to 5 fish. And that is a humongous deal when it comes to bass fishing. So, guys, that is my 4 things that I like to do when I'm practicing for a tournament. A is to pre-practice, to look at the results, figure out what size fish I need to catch. That's a huge, huge thing. B, look at the conditions for the tournament day. Don't get so locked in on your practice day, half day of practice. Look at the tournament day. The third thing is figure out your tournament bait. So like the main pattern, main technique that you're looking for. And then the fourth thing is to find that finesse bait, find that alternative pattern that will help supplement your primary pattern. Guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet, hit that sub button. Comment below, what is your best finish in the individual tournament? Guys, I hope y'all enjoy it, and I'll see you on the next video.